All right, guys, welcome to the $7 to $100 million podcast. I'm your host, Tim Warren. I'm joined by Daniel Sfire, who's our marketing manager, and Paul DeMott, who's our co-founder and tech wizard, all things tech wizard at Helium. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Good.
Happy Monday.
Yeah,
so
happy
I'll
Monday.
show you guys, but over the weekend, I kind of built a new version of Noble for the $500 a month, or the $399 package. If you guys want to see,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get it loaded on my computer because I have to copy the database changes over. But I'll show you guys pictures for now.
Okay.
If you guys want to see,
and this will be good for. I was watching a Hormozi video on downsells. He's like, how to sell everybody. And you start at your normal thing and you're working your way down. And then if people are like, nah, I can't do that one. Then you have a lower one. No, I can't do that one. You have a lower one, right? So you basically just keep working it down until you get one of the programs they want to do. And then if they absolutely don't want to do any program, like they probably just don't want to buy, right? Yep. They probably just don't want to buy from you for some other reason. But I agree. It'd be really nice for us to have that final downsell that we can go to. So it's like every lead that we get on the phone, we sell them something at the very least if we can, right?
Yep. So I'll show you guys. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes, I'll have the database completely transferred over so I can show you guys on the real site. But basically, when you sign up for the program, instead of just being put into the tool, there's this whole like walkthrough setup that you go through. So you select, are you a local business? Do you sell online? And then you put your business name in. Then what it does, it does what people search for, and it does kind of like it puts your website in and does like keyword research and shows you like which keywords you should go after. So I don't have all the screenshots of it, but then so you can see Noble's kind of been adjusted. So on the left-hand side, you've got your SEO tab and the
you're not
SEO. Oh, am I not? Can you not see it?
No, you're not sharing.
Oh, oops. Okay, hold up. So when you log into Noble, like when you register a new account, it walks you through like a setup process. Yeah. So you select how do customers find you. You put your website name in. Then when you go to what people search, it shows you like it does a bunch of keyword research and shows you what the most important keywords for your business are. You can select those, and basically what you select is what's going to be tracked on the map or nationally or both. Then you select your area. Then you click start. And then once you're in, it basically has a map visualization of your, so you've got kind of like where do you show up overall, website rankings, map listings, it visualizes those. Then it lets you sync in your Google Search Console too. So once you put your Search Console in, it can give you an action plan of what content pieces you should write this month. And then on Google Business Profile, it gives you some direction on what you need to do to catch up with everybody else. So it shows you who the leaders in your market are, and then what you need to do to catch up this month. It shows you reviews that you haven't responded to. So and highlights any that are like urgent. So like answer this first. Then again, you can connect your Search Console. You soon will be able to connect to your Google Business Profile, but I'm waiting on API approval. And then one really big thing is that I've updated the sidebar. You can kind of see it here. So here's the content optimization. So basically you get content opportunities every month that uses your Search Console and what keywords you're missing. And you can click write this page, and then it will just, open up the Noble editor, and you can actually just write the page in there. But the sidebar has been updated so that way it's really focused on like your SEO first. And then the content section's all been collapsed into a content area for all the content writing tools. So it uses Search Console and data for SEO to figure out, what keywords you need to rank for. And then you can just click write page, and it will use the Noble writer to write everything for you.
Sweet. So it's basically making Noble better with people who are still signed up to want to do it themselves and like save the money or whatever. This can just do it. Yeah. This can make maps better. So the content's better, the map's better.
It gives you direction on what to write to from an SEO standpoint. So and it does Google Business Profile posting. So it gives you a bunch of it uses Noble to write posts for Google Business Profile. So it's actually both Google Business Profile and national SEO, or both. So depending on this setting that you select, the tool that we use for
Yeah.
That's built into this as well. And so it can show you the grid across the whole entire United States, where you're at, how you're changing over time, like which competitors are beating you.
Here. That's sweet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the idea is like to make it so that there's, I think today, like it's a little too before these changes, it's a little too do it yourself, and you don't really know what to do, like what to work on.
Right.
So this gives you like directions every month. Oh, and once a month it emails you like where you're at on all this stuff. So like what content you should update this month, how are you progressing on the stuff that you changed. So hopefully I'll have it up by the end of the call to show you guys.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, anything we can do to make Noble or any of our softwares better, I think makes sense. Sweet, that's awesome, Paul. Thanks for sharing, and love to see that. And I think that's a good one. I think what we also will need too is a something that we can sell that's a very, very inexpensive, totally done for you still too, because the Noble is a DIY, right? So I think we should have the Noble DIY for like a little bit higher price, right? Or maybe that's like the lowest price, and then there's a little bit higher price done for you. So we should probably, like in my mind, we have a, maybe, $299, here's a just maps done for you, very, very easy, whatever, through one of our softwares. Then here's a Noble $199 if you want to do it yourself and save $100 or whatever. And
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good, but I do think we need it done for you as well for the really low level, like just very basic offer for people who just like, they're not going to actually use Noble. And then they either sign up and only go a month, don't use it, right? Or they cancel and they're like, I never used it. Can you refund me? Like we don't want to end up in that situation.
I kind of have two versions of this too. So there's a version that if you sign up for Noble, it's like a do-it-yourself version, and then there's the version that our team has. So the version our team has basically gives us all these features for our clients, so we can see. So we're getting the same recommendation. So what we could do, for example, is for a done for you product, if someone logs into Noble and connects the client's accounts, this same process will tell them what to change each month, what to update, and then we could just do it for them essentially. So we could hire somebody to just execute the work that it's recommending.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that could be really good. Yeah, and I think just two quick thoughts. I think one is we like having something good we can offer to the low end as a good downsell. I think that's good. I do think we're going to make most of our money on really winning for the larger client that's spending a lot more money. So I think this is kind of, Paul, if I had to say like where I think we should have the direction of this, we should have Noble, which is a good done for you. We can show people, and it's a good USP, but here's a good like DIY. Here's a DIY tool, and like you sign up and do it yourself. Then here's a done for you, something that's like maps and local, right? That's really good for smaller local businesses. And it's like done for you, and maybe that's $299, right? It's still cheap enough where people won't cancel it. They can kind of go forever, but it's a pretty inexpensive thing. Then I think we have the $2,000 DR booster, right? Which is like focused for businesses who need good SEO, but they don't want to spend yet on like real SEO. And then we've got 5K and above. So we are going to roll that out to the sales team this morning and like really push that this month to the leads that we have. Really focus on trying to quote what we're worth and sell on the value we drive versus just selling based on people's budget. Because I think people's budgets are very like randomly picked. Like I'm going to spend $3,000, right? But it depends on how much we drove them. We drove them $1 million in sales. That would be insanely good for them and bad for us, right? So here's one thing I want to throw out today. I'm thinking about what to talk on the podcast. I was thinking about this a lot yesterday and also today, but I have two things I want to throw out and get your guys' thoughts on, and also kind of chat through in the time that we have. So the first one is this idea of speed. So we in the last month, right? We pull up our data. In the last month, Paul, we've made huge strides in our marketing so far. Let's see, last 30 days. So this is from 7.5 to 8.3. We've had 352 conversions, 76 leads, 15 leads over 3.5K, 102 meetings booked, right? 78 first meetings, 24 follow-ups, 56 completed, 21 no-shows, the 27% no-show rate, right? which is not bad.
Yeah.
15 great leads. All right. So here's one thing, Paul, I'm thinking of, right? We're trying to get to 100 million, but first we want to get to 15. Let's get to 15 million. So one thing that depresses me or makes me sad, right, is getting to the goal, but getting there really slowly, right? Where it's like we slowly get to the goal. What could we do to speed it up? So what if instead of having to wait every month and selling 50K per month, what if we could just keep speeding up? Where if we viewed this not as a per month, but a per week, and we just kept going faster, right? It was like, we're selling 50K a month. Well, now we're selling 100K. Well, now we're selling 150K. What would we need to do? So let me just ask it backwards, I guess. Mm-hmm. If we wanted to sell 150,000 in monthly reoccurring per month, what would we need to do to make that true? What would need to be true about our lead gen to make 150K per month true?
Yeah, why don't we start by pulling up that calculator that I built?
Yeah,
I think I think it's one, we need to know our numbers really well, which are also like, what are our constraints? So like,
right,
how many reps would actually be needed for that? How many meetings would be needed for that? What does the close rate need to be, or what do the numbers need to be at different close rates?
Right.
So, all right, let's see.
I'm really trying to lean into this idea of like watching Hormozi's videos, and he talks to business owners, and he's going through the stuff. And I was watching one last night that he basically was watching his own like recordings from his conferences where he's giving people advice, and then he's giving like his own talk track behind it, like over top of it. And one of the guys was like, "Hey, we're doing 7 million a year right now. We're doing B2C." They had some kind of recruiting or executive training function. I don't remember what it was, and it's something they were doing. And then he was like, "Hey, I want to go B2B." And Hormozi's like, "Whoa, wait." He's like, "Wait, stop. You're doing B2C. You got this whole thing going, right?" And he was like, "How much are you spending per day on Facebook?" Because all their ads came from Facebook, or all their leads came from Facebook. And he was like, "We're spending $1,000 to $2,000 a day on Facebook, right?" And he was like, "Why do you want to go B2B?" He's like, "Well, we think it's a bigger audience. We think it can scale, blah, 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 all this stuff." And Hormozi's like, "But isn't that completely different? Like B2C and B2B?" He's like, "That's a totally different business, right?" He's like, "Why would you start a new business?" He's like, "What if you just spent?" He's like, "What if you spent 10,000 a day?" He's like, "Well, we get more leads." He's like, "Well, then what would happen?" "Well, we'd sell more deals." He's like, "Why don't you just do that versus starting a whole other business?" And he went through, and I was like, "Oh man, like we make this mistake so easily, where instead of just being like, what if I just did way more of the thing I'm already doing and just got there way faster? Instead, we like try to invent the new thing. It's like, what if I created this? Like, what's up?" And I do it too. It's like, what if we did like, no, stop, just do more. Now we're obviously we're trying to figure out our packages for profit, right? Mm-hmm. But I thought of this, I was thinking a lot about this, is like, what if, like the biggest thing that frustrates or depresses me with our current model is we have to wait and get people in, get the leads in, get them sold, then they bill, but then it's not profit right away because eventually there's more profit, and then eventually we really grow. It's like, what if we could just speed that up? What if we could do it way faster and like really have that hockey stick? Like, what is really truly holding us back from growing to $50 million in a year, right? Like, what is actually holding us back? And whatever that constraint is, that's probably the most important thing we should be focused on, and just removing that constraint, because that's actually
it's probably like 50 to 100 constraints that all have to be dealt with in some like order, would be my guess. I don't think there's a single constraint. Like if
let's work through those constraints. Yeah. Because I think two things I'm starting to believe is, one, it takes way more work to get to the goal than we think it's going to. Like we kind of visualize the marathon, and then you start running and you're like, wow, this is way further than I thought. And then you have to keep going. It's still like 20 miles. You're like, oh, geez. That's number one. Number two is, I think part of why it takes so long, because this was a video I was watching, and whoever was talking was saying, people end up being busy because they're working on things that aren't the actual work that needs to be done, like the most important work, versus the people who get the most accomplished. They just work on the work only super maniacally, like an Elon Musk, and that's all they do. And then they do it at a super focused level for a super long time, right? And they just don't do anything else. Like they're hyper focused. So what if we were super focused on that constraint, or whatever that series of constraints would be, to, keep doubling our sales every month? How would we do that, I guess? What are your thoughts? How would we actually do that?
But yeah, that's why I wanted to pull this up to see, like, let's just look at some numbers, because I think there's like a couple like constraints, and then I think a big question in my mind is that, like, when does scaling cause collapse, and when does scaling work well? And I definitely think for it to work well, you have to know the numbers and how all the different parts of the system work, and you have to be able to measure it. Otherwise, sometimes it's like the tower thing. You build something that tall fast, it just falls over. That doesn't keep growing. So I think it's a good question. We just need to work back from the numbers. So, let's say our goal is like 155. So we'll assume that the proposal rate has gotten a little bit better. So let's say it's gotten to like 30%. And then, like, leads wise, we're probably closer to like right now we're probably around like 250 a month or something in terms of total leads.
Yeah.
So let's just see. So
this is pretty close. So last month we closed about 56K in reoccurring.
Yeah, and this is about so I'd say these numbers like are roughly around where we were last month.
Yeah.
So then let's say so increasing ads spend increases leads. So let's just say we got up to 500 leads, which isn't crazy to try to do. Let's see. And I think this assumes that we maintain the same quality that we're currently getting. So if we get to 500 leads, then our team could theoretically do 109,000 if everything else holds. Now, typically when you scale, everything doesn't hold. So there's a lot of micro problems that start to pop up.
Sure.
But
we solve those as we go.
Yeah. But still, like, this gets us to 100, which is a pretty good next step, like next problem in front of us. And then, like, let's just say we could get close rate on that to like 40%, then we're right at that 150 a month number. So I just want to see the math. So, like, if we had 100, so this is 105 first meetings a month, which is going to have to produce a certain number of second meetings. So let me just see, 195 divided by, should we say 3 reps or 4 reps?
Let's say 4, because I'm selling 2.
Okay, so that's 50 meetings per month, 50 first meetings per month per rep. So that's at least 2 first meetings per day for everybody. Or like not quite 2, but about, yeah, it's probably 2 because of the weekends and stuff. So let's see, how many business days are there in a month? 50 divided by
about like 20 to 22, depending on.
I should say 22 or so. Yeah, so everyone's doing about 2 meetings per day of a new first time meeting.
These numbers take into account like the conversion versus lead quality and how many people actually book and how many people actually get to proposal and all that stuff?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So this is just assuming that our rates stay about the same as they have been. So if we scaled and like lead quality stayed the same, then that's roughly where it'd be. So I want to see, I think I have it somewhere. I have something around second meetings. Where is this? Yeah, second meet. So those are the ones met. So 37 and 7. 7 made it the second meeting out of 37. Actually, is there a total? Okay, so 66 meetings booked, 17. So about half of those create second meetings. So going back over here. So that would mean basically everybody's doing 75 meetings per month. All 4 reps are doing 75 meetings a month. Now, obviously, we probably, if we get to this number, would just hire another rep.
That's right.
So, yeah, like 75 divided by 22. So everyone has to do about 4 meetings per day that are a mixture of proposal meetings and first-time meetings. And we need to produce 500 leads, and they need to be able to close at 40%. So a lot of assumptions baked in there, but it's like, at least like directionally correct.
That doesn't feel too crazy to me. Plus, the average MRR 49.16. I think we can drive that up with these new packages and new pricing we're going to do with anchoring, driving in more profitable packages.
So check out how easy it gets. Let's just say close rate. We'll just go more conservative. So close rate 30%, and then let's just say we sold like 10K packages.
Right.
I mean, it gets look how big this number is.
But
now, see, I don't think the leads totally align though, but.
So Paul, I got to jump to run a meeting, but I just want to say this. This is what I was thinking about over the weekend. Whatever we have to do, like, I think this idea of focus, right? Like, if we focus our energy on completely this, nothing will change the business more than that calculator and those numbers right there. Mm-hmm. So I think we divide and conquer. And if you can work backwards today, what would we need to spend to drive 500 leads, right? What would we need to spend and what would we do to drive 500 leads? If we could drive 500 leads and we got the setters setting the appointments and then we got the sales team full, and then I'm working with the sales team on selling more profitable packages, closing bigger deals, selling what we're worth, and closing as hard as possible, then the next step is simple. We keep spending more on ads, more leads, we hire more sales reps, we get them in, we train, and we just keep going. And what if we could speed that up, and it doesn't have to be like just a slow ramp? What if we could just hit send, right? And just keep going. Mm-hmm. Let's get there faster.
Yeah. I think we need to. We should come up with So the big thing is just like how much profit do we want to eat into to spend more, and what would those numbers be? And then I do think on all the ads platforms you have to gradually raise budgets, but I mean, like it can be something like every other day you increase spend by 5%. Every other day you increase spend by 5%.
Right.
Otherwise, you can just like destroy. Like the whole thing can collapse under itself because the data is like it doesn't know what to do.
Right.
But I'm with you. Like, how can we figure that piece out?
Yeah, I think this is the key to driving value in business. I think is speed, and the faster we can get there. I also think we need to be taking bigger bets to beat more people in the marketplace who aren't going to be willing to take these kind of bets, right? Mm-hmm. Like other SEO companies are just not going to be willing to spend $5,000 a day on ads. But if we are, we're going to win, right? Because we're going to have way more deals and we're going to grow. And then the faster we grow, the more people hear about us. And then there's like all these like the halo effect and the virtuous cycle. So, all right, I got to jump. I got to go run a sales meeting. But guys, thanks for joining us on the podcast. And my one takeaway I would say today is how do we focus on the one constraint that's stopping us from scaling, and let's focus on removing that constraint. That's the whole focus. And let's go make money. See you guys.